Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Kuma, and today we're reviewing another Iron Factory figure. It's been a while since one of these. Iron Factory EX-51. It's crazy to think 51 in just a couple of years. I think like 5 or 6 since they've been out, man. 51 freaking figures. Probably more because they jump around and stuff like that. But Power Falcon. So, take a look at him. Of course, he is an homage to Power Glide. We'll put this guy in the center so you can see him. Let's go ahead and get him measured. He looks about the standard 3.5, 4 inches. Wow, he's a shorter one. So 3.25 to his antenna. Oh, knocked him down, but that's okay. He is a stable figure. I have played around with this one a bit. It has some wonkiness to it just because of the engineering, but yeah. In terms of accessories, he just comes with his blaster here. That's it. All right, and to give you guys a roundabout here. The nice thing is that it comes out of the box configured correctly, so don't worry about having to move a flap, this, that, and the other like you have to with some figures, Iron Factory and other companies, so you can just get them out, start playing as long as you like them in robot mode. There is. Alright, quick comparison to some other Iron Factory figures. So, City Commander, I don't know what version of City Commander this one is. It's like Ultra Commander, something funny or whatever, but then they're Cliff Jumper as well. So, I think I have about every one of these to date, so when it comes to the funny names and stuff, I am just not with it. That's a lot to have memorized. So we've got him again, 3.25. City Commander, he's about 4.5. Little guy over here, Cliff Jumper, he is like 3.125, and of course, big man over here, he's about 6 inches to the tip of his head. So you can see how it compares to other figures. A favorite of mine, I always like to use their side swipe mold. Either him or Sunstreaker, and he's just slightly taller as well. So there you go. Okay, so just looking at the articulation really quickly here. Head on a ball joint, so it does have some rock there. Nothing about the helmet gets in the way of that. It's nice. Nice long neck peg as well. Alright, full 360 motion there. So there, because of the transformation, there's a little bit of like up and down butterfly, but parallel as well as 360 are going to be mainly handled by the ball joint on the shoulder. You don't really want to play with this a lot because these flaps actually peg in. They peg in tightly, but they can be pulled out. Alright, so went over the shoulders. Unfortunately, the bicep swivel is actually handled at the elbow because of this joint right here. Just a ball joint. It also is the, of course, elbow, slightly past 90 degrees. But the thing is, like, there's a hinge here for the transformation. That's why there's not an actual ball joint, so that sucks. The wrist, no wrist articulation. The wrists do go in and out because of the transformation. And then there are these flaps here. Make sure they're aligned like that. Waist. 360. Okay. Hips. Out. Forward. Lots of back kibble there, but it moves backwards. Hip swivel. Double jointed knees. The feet have these flaps as well that don't lock into place. The engineering on this one, it's like, it's got a really strong aesthetic, but the engineering is just kind of a bore. No ab crunch or anything like that either. I've checked a million times to make sure. So, but yeah, again, the aesthetic is strong. Put his blaster in one of his hands here. But in terms of just the engineering articulation, it's nothing. It's not the worst Iron Factory figure, but it's definitely not up there with the tops, you know. All right, slide that in, and then we'll just do a pretty standard like blast pose. Zoom in there. Turn that a little lower. Boom. There we go. Get this guy transformed. Okay, and now we're going to take a look at its alt mode. Pretty neat. It's different. Sure that guy's up. One thing I will say that I do like about this, the transformation kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. Mostly because the instructions are a little bit too vague for the particular aspects of this. But I love that the weapon actually becomes the rear landing gear. So that's pretty cool. This flips in and out. So that's pretty neat. I mean, pretty straightforward stuff. Okay, so taking this off, I'm going to see something here. It didn't come with a stand of its own, but I think it is compatible with the generic Iron Factory stands that were out. I found this guy, and I think there's a spot right here that it might fit, and yes. So that's pretty darn cool right there. Make sure that's facing the correct way. Bring this guy up. That around. That around. That looks a bit better. So yeah, good stuff, man. Make sure that it's focused there as best as possible. So if you want to use the generic Iron Factory stance with it, of course, you are free. And I mean, I'll go ahead and end it here. See if we can't point it downwards a little bit so you guys can get that view of it. But overall, it's... And I don't say this with, like, ill intention or will. But it is a very mediocre figure for Iron Factory. It doesn't have a lot of the articulation stuff that I've really come to look forward to, like the ab crunch, the wrist swivel, things like that. But it's still solid. I wish it had more lock points in its robot mode, like those flaps on the feet and whatnot. That would be nice. The alt mode, it's okay. But honestly, you know what? I would love to say I don't buy these figures for alt mode, but there are, in fact, I'll see if I can't show you guys or whatever. I do have a certain amount of figures from Iron Factory that are in their alt modes and stuff like that, so, you know, I'd be a liar if I said, oh man, it's just, can't stand the alt modes, blah blah blah. No, that's not it. Especially not when they're 5 feet away. With a lot of them in alt mode. So not really my favorite alt mode. Robot mode is meh. I don't know what the price is for this off the top of my head. So I'm going to say if it's between like $0 and $30, definitely yeah. I think it's a solid addition to the line. But if you get into like that $40 to $60 range, I'd pass on this figure, you know, because at the end, it's just okay. And the aesthetic is good, but not good enough to carry a lot of the mediocre aspects of the figure itself and the engineering. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.